The emails in question, Jeffrey Epstein to Peter Thiel. That was fun. See you in 3 weeks. Dude, you promised me a MAGA, and today I've been told by multiple people that because the Democrats didn't release it, they actually took the time to alter the documents to print to Trump, so nothing can be trusted that comes out. That's the level of cope they're hitting. Nothing is going to change the MAGA views base besides the video of DJ
soon, and that is bad news politically for Donald John Trump.
All right, thank you so much, Air Harry Enton. And now joining us is John Berman, hopefully.
Thank you, thank you very much. Pleased to be with you today, Sarah
So good to
Seidman.
have
Thank
you here,
you
John.
very much. With us now also is senior politics reporter for Axios, Mark Caputo. Mark, I've been reading you for years, but overnight, your story on what's been happening in the White House really over the last 24 hours. Plus, not every story is a process story, but boy, the process here is fascinating because of how the White House is handling this. Why are they doing what they're doing?
Oh, I wonder why.
We can only speculate. And the speculation that circulates in Trump's orbit, whether it's some people around the White House, longtime advisors, confidants, is that Trump's name in some way, form, or fashion is in the Epstein files. And that really bothers him because he knows that if you have Trump and Epstein in a file, it's going to be a headline and it's going to dominate news coverage, social media discussion, be all over television. Just consider what's happened here. There wasn't a smoking gun in this tranche of emails that was released, yet it's just totally dominated everything. So imagine if there's an investigative file, a criminal investigative file or files, where Trump's name is mentioned in some form or fashion. Again, I don't know what that form or fashion is. It would be what we're seeing now, just on steroids.
And what exactly have they been doing? There's the stuff that CNN has reported on. We know about a situation room meeting with Lauren Boebert. But what else is happening behind the scenes?
Well, from what we understand, they've made a number of calls, including the president had played phone tag at one point with Nancy Mace, the South Carolina representative. And he doesn't want this, I'm sorry to use the phrase discharge petition, most people don't know what it is, but he doesn't want this measure backed by Republicans to go to the floor. But it increasingly looks like that's going to fail and there is going to be a full vote on it. Ultimately, Trump had decided in July that despite his campaign trail promise, despite the comments of his advisors,
Why balance?
Now J.D. Vance, or better said, now Vice President J.D. Vance, Pam Bondi, now the Attorney General, Kash Patel, now the FBI Director. On the campaign trail, they were saying, oh, the Epstein files are going to be released. July rolls around in 2025. Trump says, nope. And
Do they expect him to send an email saying, I, Donald John Trump, committed several counts of child? Yeah, that's not, honestly, maybe. Like, if you were to ask me that question a while ago, I would have been like, haha, that's funny joke chatter. But it seems like these guys were very forthcoming in these emails. Like, they literally, like every financial elite that emailed Jeffrey Epstein at a certain point was like, hey, really loved the party last night, wink, wink. Sometimes even more aggressive, like, hey, I love trafficking children with you, right? It's the funnest thing we can do. I love doing it. Like, yeah. Every Epstein email is like, yes, I love girls. Everyone knows it. Happy birthday. MAGA, those emails could be anything. The emails in question, Jeffrey Epstein to Peter Thiel. That was fun. See you in 3 weeks. Dude, you promised me a MAGA, and today I've been told by multiple people that because the Democrats didn't release it, they actually took the time to alter the documents to print to Trump, so nothing can be trusted that comes out. That's the level of cope they're hitting. Nothing is going to change the MAGA views base besides the video of DJT sexually assaulting a child, and even then they're going to blame it on AI. No. If that were to come out, they wouldn't blame AI. They would just say it's actually cool and good that he did it, and they love doing it too. Like, there are going to be MAGA-based loyalists who will unironically ride no matter what, okay? They will dick ride no matter what is going on. They would probably blame the child and do like a what was she wearing thing, or they would just turn around and be like, who amongst us hasn't been in this situation, right? I mean, Laura Ingraham already did it. We covered it earlier. Laura Ingraham straight up turned around and did the thing. She was like, well, actually, it's a phobophilia. I mean, some 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds are attractive. And it's like, why didn't the Democrats actually release this stuff when Joe Biden was president if they were actually massaging the information, okay? That's the question. The counter to that always from your friends and hog coworkers that are saying like, oh, well, Democrats obviously weaponize this information. It's like, okay, dude, why didn't they? Oh, I mixed up Laura Ingraham and Megyn Kelly. Sorry, it wasn't Laura Ingraham. It was Megyn Kelly who said that. My apologies. I'm sure Laura Ingraham will end up saying it tonight. So, you know, maybe that'll be another pre-watch Piker moment. But yes, it was Megyn Kelly who said actually it's a Phoebophilia, not Laura Ingraham. But when your coworkers turn around and say like, oh, well, the Democrats actually massage this information, like, or they manipulate this information. It's all fake news. It's all fake news. It's a line of attack against Trump. Ask them this question. Why did they not release this manipulated information, this trove of data before the election then, dumbass? Because that's such a stupid line of argumentation. It's such a stupid way to argue against this position that, like, basically the counter is we'll put him on the back foot. Like, they'll be like, okay, that does really not make sense. Also, because Bill and Hillary Clinton have decades of known association with Epstein and Maxwell and are still viewed as assets to the Democratic Party. Yeah, none of these people in these emails lovingly chatting with Epstein will face social consequences. And we know this because in 2019, it was revealed Bill Gates met with Epstein several times and his wife of 30 plus years divorced him over it. And this basically went into a memory hole. Will there ever be a smoking gun? Chatter. The smoking gun analogy only works if someone is able to be harmed by bullets. Okay? If the current state of discourse with our maximalist political, with misinformation running amok, with people having a true crisis of critical thinking and media literacy, has rendered the political information landscape to be uninhabitable for normal brain people, then there is no smoking gun. It's the same principle behind Pete Hegseth, right? It's the same principle behind why normally a candidate like Pete Hegseth would never be able to get the highest security clearance, because when they are interviewing people for top security clearances, right, where you are like handling classified information and whatnot, they actually make sure that you are not blackmailable, okay? So they look at like whether you have, you know, an alcoholism issue or a gambling issue. Brett Kavanaugh had a gambling issue, and that didn't actually stop people from, that did not actually harm him in the long run. He still became a Supreme Court justice. But the reason why they look at that sort of stuff is because if you are an alcoholic, if you have gambling debt, like things of that nature, you are malleable, you are persuadable, you are blackmailable. But you are unblackmailable if you have no shame. We are coming to realize that this entire structure is basically held together by a collective understanding of morality that is falling apart. And while it was often the Republicans that said there is such a thing as objective morality and you guys are all post what is it? What's the oh my God, my brain is fried. It was Jordan Peterson and many Republicans that said that it was the Dems that were postmodernist or neo-Marxist or you know, engaged in cultural relativism, and that there was such a thing as objective morality. It's very obvious that it's actually the Republicans that are doing the same postmodernist analysis here, and they find ways around it. Basically, they just, it doesn't matter anymore. There is no such thing as like social stigma associated with certain things that used to exist, including but not limited to pedophilia, it seems. Do you understand? I think it's very damaging that we do not have consensus reality. I say this all the time. It's one of the worst aspects of modernity, especially in this like internet media environment. Having no consensus reality is terrifying. Even in like small, nonsensical, idiotic ways that obviously I encounter, right? That I experience in my day-to-day existence. All right, let's continue with Jeffrey Epstein now.
And once that decision was made, it just sort of created this snowball effect, and Trump is living with it, or I guess maybe a better phrase is karma. This is political karma, the law of action and reaction. You promise you're going to do something, then you reverse yourself, and then it already becomes this massive political issue that just becomes very difficult to escape.
And what's the mood inside the White House over this? And how do, and you've done reporting on this, how do insiders feel about what would happen if they approached the president on different ways of managing this?
Oh, the people I've spoken to who talk to the president say, look, we don't talk about this with him because he's just going to get angry and lose his temper. And as a result, that's how you're seeing, or that's why you're seeing him act in this way. The White House is bothered by this release of emails from the Democrats because it was released in a strategic way, a political way, to coincide with the ending of the shutdown. Also, the sort of most, eyebrow-raising email, the one from Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell, that the Democrats released, they purposely redacted the name of the victim. And from what we understand, that victim, Virginia Giuffre, was a person who was not a victim of Donald Trump. In addition to that, had testified, had written, had spoken, had publicly said that Donald Trump didn't sexually assault her. She didn't know of Donald Trump sexually assaulting anyone, and that she had good relations with Donald Trump, friendly and legal, warm relations with him. And the fact that the Democrats had redacted that really bothers the White House, because the Democrats essentially sort of got one over on them, and they spent an entire day on defense. And this is a White House that likes to drive the narrative, not have the narrative driven against them. But obviously they were in a situation where they were just on that defensive, crouching on a back foot.
You know, it is interesting with the discharge petition, which does seem like it will go, and I use the words too, but this vote on the House floor, where the full House will vote on calling for the full release from the Justice Department of the so-called Epstein files. But that doesn't mean they'll be released, because then the Senate has to vote on it and the president would have to sign it into law there. So the president can stop this. The question is, why is he fighting so hard? Is it clear to you why he's fighting so hard, therefore, and why he's used so much capital and had Speaker Mike Johnson use so much capital to keep this vote from happening?
Well, this is how Donald Trump is. If he doesn't want something, he fights tooth and nail to make it not happen. And if he wants something, he does that as well to make it happen. Here he doesn't want it to happen, and he's just going to fight tooth and nail. And he doesn't matter how many sort of rakes he's going to step on in the process in doing it. He fights. Sometimes the way he fights hurts him. You saw, for instance, and I referenced in the piece in Axios today, in 2017, in the Russia investigation, if Donald Trump had sort of let FBI Director James Comey go and just, do some typical law enforcement work, it probably would have just blown over. But instead, Donald Trump fired James Comey, and that triggered the Russia investigation. Then there was COVID, and the way he handled COVID, he got a lot of criticism for it, and so he called that a hoax. Well, what's he actually calling a hoax? The other day on Sunday, Donald Trump was asked about the affordability crisis on Fox News in a friendly interview. And he called the affordability crisis a con job. So Donald Trump sort of reacts very negatively to criticisms and issues that reflect badly on him, or that his critics say reflect badly on him. And he doesn't always react in a way that helps him. Sometimes he doubles down, or he gets so heavy-handed that it winds up making the story bigger and making the story more negative for him. And I think that's what you're seeing here. Had he gone along with his campaign trail promise,
I think it's really fucked up that no one is considering how Trump feels after losing his best friend. Okay? Do you know how difficult it is to lose your best friend? One that you had a shared interest, that one that you had the same hobbies with, that you would have unique shared experiences with. Who is he supposed to do that stuff with? J.D. Vance? And no, I'm not talking about Charlie Kirk. I'm talking about Jeffrey Epstein. There's people talking about Charlie Kirk in the chat. No, I'm talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Enigmas never age, Jeffrey. Who is he going to send birthday cards to now that Jeffrey's dead?
We have a...
Okay. Who? Shinzo came to my mind at first, not going to lie. Oh, yeah, he does love Shinzo. It's actually true. Every day is another beautiful... You and I, Jeffrey, every day we share together. He stopped doodling since then. That's... Oh, my God, you're right. Oh, my God. Ever since he lost the light of his life, he has stopped doodling. Jeffrey was the guy who encouraged him to doodle more, and now he's gone. You think Trump and Epstein hooked up? Maybe. Jeffrey Epstein, power broker. Jeffrey Epstein, Dershowitz tells me Obama called him to ask him what's going on with Israel. We should discuss. Shut the fuck up. Dude, no, stop. Barack Obama, god damn it, dude. God damn it. This man literally fucking hung out with Rashid Khalidi, okay? And Edward Said. And Ali as well. Ali Abu Nima. I didn't even know that the third guy, the famous photo is literally Obama sitting at the table with Edward Said and Rashid Khalidi. Unbeknownst to even someone like myself, the third guy at that table was Ali Abu Nima. For those who don't know, yes, Electronic Intifada's very own Ali Abu Nima was at the table with Barack Obama. That guy asking advice from Alan Dershowitz on this shit is so ridiculous because he knows better. He knows better. Also, look at these cutie pies. They have become besties, which is really funny because like Farley around Will is an entirely different demon versus Farley outside of Will's sphere of scent and influence. He is very different. First, he like loses his mind, loses his shit, and then finally he gets depressed. And then I think he's actually reached a new stage now where he's like, okay, this is recognition. I have to live with this massive demon here. It's acceptance. He's decided she's my only friend now in this world. I like how you see Kaya's drool on the side of the car. Yeah, she's a drooly girl. Don't call Kaya a demon. Kaya is a demon. Kaya used to be a much bigger demon, though. She's like much chiller now. Farley thinks Will died to self-suck. True.